is also an issue of World War III. And World War III is between the British Empire, better known as the Anglo-Dutch liberal banking financial system on the one side, and the principal nations of Eurasia, Russia, China, India, and other nations are the targets of intended warfare by the British Empire, which is already turning Europe into a mere colony of the British Empire through the program of the Lisbon Treaty. If the Lisbon Treaty were adopted, and is being pushed for adoption now, there would not be a single nation on the continent of Europe, west of Belarus and Russia, which had any sovereignty whatsoever. The British Empire would control the entirety of that region of Europe, from Portugal to the borders of Belarus and Russia, as a puppet of the Anglo-Dutch liberal financial interests. It is those interests represented in the United States for a long time have taken over control of the US dollar, control of the United States. Now they're moving in for the kill. The same cartel that put Mussolini into power in Italy, the same cartel that put Hitler into power in Germany. And we're now at the brink of something like a Hitler power taking over the United States. If they grab the United States, then they will grab all of Europe under the Lisbon Treaty. If they control the United States and the parts of Europe under the Lisbon Treaty, then you will have an actual fighting war emerging on this planet. You will have dictatorship. You will have mass starvation. The elimination of whole sections of the population of parts of the world through starvation. And that's part of the British program. It's the food war. That's the situation.
After a lengthy ratification process, the European Union's Lisbon Treaty comes into effect today. A celebration ceremony will be held in Portugal's capital, Lisbon. The EU's first permanent president, Herman Van Rompuy, and European Commission President José Manuel Barroso will attend the ceremony. The Lisbon Treaty is expected to increase the powers of the European Parliament and speed up the EU's decision-making. It also aims to enhance the powers of the Union's foreign policy chief and boost integration among EU's member states.
It is now time to close that institutional chapter and to take up the Treaty of Lisbon for what it is, a treaty of opportunities, a powerful tool with which to tackle the challenges of our time. The Treaty of Lisbon will allow us to take decisions more speedily and more democratically. It obliges us to play our part on the world stage.
With the treaty, I hope that the EU will be more accessible and more understandable to the citizens.
The right to a preemptive nuclear strike against China is now part of U.S. law. That's thanks to the National Defense Authorization Act. The Pentagon's also ordered a thorough review of when and how the U.S. could strike at the network of tunnels believed to hold Beijing's atomic arsenal. There are certainly some that really say that the American president is powerless when it comes to going head-to-head with the military-industrial complex. Certainly at this point, though, we've been getting reports that there have been some rather peculiar high-altitude jet forays between China and Japan. Some Japanese jets tailing Chinese jets, basically playing some high-altitude games of cat and mouse, possibly reigniting another territorial dispute. They've been having disputes for quite some time now, certainly over some particular islands. Is it possible that those two could get involved in something slightly more intense?
It certainly could, and of course, the more bellicose that the U.S. becomes against China, the more safe Japan will feel in either threatening or responding to Chinese aggression. So I think it really only serves to put a match next to this powder keg that is the Asia-Pacific region, especially now that really this is heating up and the American attention is turning here. I think we're going to see more and more of these types of situations coming along that could justify even further military military intervention. So we have to look at these types of nuclear rhetoric that's coming out right now, not necessarily as an intent to strike anytime soon, but certainly as something to keep our eyes on as this rhetoric continues to ratchet up.
Now, Russia is warning it could make a preemptive strike against NATO's anti-missile defense shield planned for Europe if the US persists in going ahead, ignoring the Kremlin's opposition. Moscow says the system threatens its national security.
In the leadership of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, neither is morally fit to survive. They're as unmorally fit to survive as the people who backed Mussolini and backed Hitler back in the 1920s and the 1930s. And if we allow this to happen, we will get the same kind of treatment that the victims of Mussolini, Hitler, and so forth suffered. That's what we said. We have to win this war against that evil empire.